how far we've come. Remember our first ever call where my phone was going zzz, zzz the whole time,
You know
and it was.
that it doesn't ring a bell, but that's because I'm just like nothing makes
It's
sense
been
to me
so long and
anymore.
so many. They're all. I think this
Okay,
is like
okay, hold on, hold
90.
on. All right, I'm
Okay.
gonna say
Okay.
my thing. I'm gonna say my thing. Right. Welcome to Vantage Point, the place for me, Glass Half Dead, to talk about the subjects I want to talk about without having to care about my YouTube channel. So expect some heavy, rambling content as I turn the conceal order on what I want to talk about to an engage order. I wrote that just now.
Dude, that was class.
Thank you. I think class is that's a kind word. Thank you for that. Because
You're gonna have to change your name to Class Half Dead
oof,
pretty soon here.
damn, that was
Dad
good.
joke.
That was good.
Dad
I
joke.
like that. I like that. I'm streaming to Twitch, so I can't even see chat. That's how quality that's
If you
amazing.
give me a sec, I can log in and I'll see the.
No, I've got it. We're good.
Okay. If you give me a sec, I can log in and I'll see the.
There you go. Boom. Right. But nobody's watching us, so it's fine. It's just me, I think. Awesome. You know what? That's what happens when you don't tell anyone you're going to go live. And I'm okay with it. Anyway, Beerinid, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. Diving into this here, this new edition of Kill Team, having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Being a noob, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I was so you kind of stopped like doing videos.
Yeah.
For quite some time. And then like we talked about Kill Team before now, but you hadn't said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to start doing stuff."
Yes.
But then like I don't know, a week ago? Oh, it was in Utakul's Discord.
Yeah.
He gave you a channel like Beerinid's Barn or something. It's not Beerinid's Barn, but that's some good alliteration. You can have that if you want.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
And then I was like, oh, this must mean he's gonna do stuff. And then you posted there, oh, anyone have video ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because I had just started playing and you know what I would say is give the game 5 games and then say you're playing game number 1.
Okay.
Because I was not getting it first. You know what I mean? I was honestly feeling very frustrated, all this stuff. And he actually made that channel because he started his Discord. And it was kind of like he was basically the way he wrote it. He was like, the Killzone podcast isn't going to happen, basically. You know, there may not be content, but, you know, maybe there'll be some ramblings from Beerinid. And the next day, I think was game 6. And I wrote him and was like, yeah, I'm starting it. I'm redoing the channel. Because it like clicked, right? And it got to a point where I could put the like, how do I move models? How can I shoot? You know, all this stuff on the shelf behind the mind. And actually, it was like, whoa, these gene stealers feel like they should, right? Like if I read a book or something, like these guys are sneaky. They're jumping out and getting you, and you know all this stuff. They're deadly in combat, and it was just such a good experience. It was like, yeah, this is it. This is like a lot of what I had been waiting for, you know, wanting from old Kill Team and
well,
the new edition.
Hold on now. Talking about the old, like you're a 40k man now. Where's that gone?
Yeah, I still really like it. In fact, I was gonna do another New Bloods tournament this for this month, but just the way scheduling worked out, Utsickle was hosting a blitz, and I wanted to try and see kind of, you know, it's like it was the first ever Kill Team tournament, you know, that you're able to take part of. You're gonna take part of that, right? Especially coming from Last Ed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's like I kind of had a choice because like with the new content thing, I'm doing kind of like 5 videos at a time, and trying to work with editor to help me this time to offload some of the burnout that eventually, you know, wants to set in, and keep things to a consistent schedule and things like that. So between the needing to have 5 videos at a time and playing in a tournament and things like that, I didn't think I would be able to do another 40k tournament on top. But yeah, still loving Big Hams.
Okay.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, since was literally since I had the Octarius box in my hands, I haven't touched 40k.
Yeah.
I played literally. I played the Wednesday before I got given it on the Friday. I played 40k, 1,000 points. Let's just say I won. Let's say I went out on a high, right?
There you go.
But then, hello, Samo21. Hello, everybody in chat. I didn't ask everyone on my Discord, so a few people have turned up. Yeah, glass half green. Oh yeah, because I've got my green screen behind me. You know why? Just so people can't see my messy room. That's literally it. That's literally it. Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I haven't played any 40k since that Wednesday before I got given Kill Team. And like, man, I really hope I don't have to learn the game. No, that's sorry, I'm being so mean. I do want to keep playing 40k, like genuinely.
Okay.
Obviously right now I can't, right? Like I've got to learn Kill Team. You know, I'd be crazy to not, you know, get on this. But I do still want to go and build up 40k, build up an army, learn to play the game, all that stuff. I'd still love to like do that whole tournament circuit thing over there. It's just that Kill Team just dropped, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously Kill Team's the game, you know. So like,
yes,
that's how it be.
And the support that we're gonna get for competitive, you know, I've been able to find out a little bit of what we may expect and things like that. It's going to be a lot different and better this time around, so I'm like really gung-ho about it myself as well.
Awesome.
I've played one game of 40k since I've had my hands on rules.
Were you playing Tyranids again?
I did a cult soup thing, so part Gene Stealer cult, part Tyranids, and I ended up doing 2 wins, 1 loss in the tournament, so I finished 12th place. So that's not bad. Second ever tournament, so 12th out of 36 or whatever.
Can't complain.
I was happy with that.
Yeah,
I'll take that. So nice. that was nice. And what's cool is I really liked the list, and so that was a lot of what I was doing, was just trying to figure out a cool build that I liked for the moment. And so it's neat because I don't have to spend time like building 40k lists to play 40k at the moment. If somebody, you know, wants a game, I can just jump in with this thing that I really enjoy. It's a weird, you know, toolboxy list.
Yeah.
And I can spend that energy on list building and things on Kill Team.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, let's talk about some hobby. Oh, sorry. So some people are in chat. I'm going to read my thing again because when I read that at first, literally nobody was here. I was my only viewer. Okay. I'm gonna so that people know what's up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let's do it again. Okay. Right. Hello, everybody in chat. So, welcome to Vantage Point, the place for me, glass half dead, to talk about the subjects I want to talk about without having to care about my YouTube channel and analytics. So expect some heavily rambling content as I turn the conceal order on what I want to talk about to an engage order.
Fire.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Somebody's pointing out that I haven't updated the title of the stream. Apparently I'm talking about the Warhammer Fest, so I need to definitely change that. Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I don't stream on Twitch, guys. I don't know what's up. Okay, let me try and change that. Let's talk briefly though about hobby. So I had originally thought, wait, what are we calling it? Vantage Point.
Yeah.
Vantage Point, colon. I can't spell. Vantage, nope. Vantage Point. A Kill Team podcast. Boom. It's not really a podcast, but whatever. Right? Done.
Who knows what it'll become?
Well, let's hope more than one video, yeah. So I've been struggling because, as you know, I don't really like hobby. I don't know if if you've been made aware of that, but
once or twice.
Once or twice. Okay. Have I mentioned it before?
To me, yes.
All right. Okay. Good. So, right. I've been back and forth doing the same thing I was doing in the last edition, where I was like, I want to find a faction that can work as a kill team and that I can scale up into big 40k. So, and then I've got all of these like different attributes and things that I really want, you know, for properties for this faction to make acceptable in both systems, right? Cool.
Okay.
And so I've still been looking at that, but then eventually I decided, no, that's not the way to do it. This is a new game, and what I should do is forget the compendium, right? I should just use whatever I have as my compendium factions, but then every time a kill team faction is released, buy that. Because it looks like they're going to be released, you know, like 2 in a box set every 3 months. Maybe 1 a month if we're lucky. In addition, I can handle that much hobby. So what I'll do is I'll wait for these things to come along. Boom, once a month I have to paint 20 models or 10 models. I can handle that.
Yeah.
However, they've just come out and given us this little tease of an AdMech team. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the White Dwarf?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you...
This might be a little bit more than you think, huh?
Well, no, because I'm okay with that, because that's still just like 1 team a month, right? But in this instance, it seems like AdMech aren't going to get specific custom models, right? So chances are, if you have an AdMech army, you're going to have whatever this AdMech kill team's going to be. I've got no idea what it's going to be, right? I assume it's going to be more than just... Well, maybe it won't. Maybe it will just be Sicarians and whatever the other ones are. But, you know, they'll actually have the specialist data cards with them. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the preview, I believe, and you know, I could be off by a page or whatever, but I believe it was like 16 pages.
Is it? I mean, that's... You know what? I've got my Octarius book literally right here. Let's find out how that stacks up to the Veteran Guardsman, shall we? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of cool. It's like you said, if they have a team, you know, it's like if you had a 1.0 team or a last edition team, whatever, you know, maybe this is your priests coming back and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Kind of like a Compendium 2.0 or whatever for them. And then who knows, they could still get a thing.
Okay, so the Octarius Veteran Guardsman there, 17 pages.
There you go.
So that's a full release, buddy.
Yep.
In White Dwarf. How do you feel about that? Because I'm conflicted.
I don't mind it. I like it. I know Utsikel, I think, was saying that he didn't like it much, you know, because he didn't want to have to like he's thinking future-proof for noobs. I get the point, right? Like he's thinking somebody 2 years from now wants to come into Kill Team, and in order to get that, they have to go and find you know, this White Dwarf. But the thing to me is, I honestly, any kind of content on the game, I'm happy with. I hope that this is continuing when it's not a brand new game. Like I like eyes on the game, support for the game, new blood, right? Because that's what it translates to for me. It's like, you know, a couple years from now or something like that, if they're still doing this kind of a thing, if it's just like, oh, bat reps or this and that, if it's inspiring the imagination of potential players, maybe that converts and we get, you know, the next Michael T. Holy or something just comes in and all of a sudden he's in every top 8 of everything he goes to, winning tournaments, whatever.
I saw that Mr. Holy joined Udsickel's Discord last week.
Yeah.
So he's alive.
Keeping fingers crossed, you know.
Yeah.
Get the gang back together, the band back together, whatever. Yeah.
Maybe he'll be at LVO. I'm gonna quickly interact with chat, because guys, I'm terrible at following chat, and I can't even beg for super chats to make me pay attention because this isn't YouTube. So I'm gonna try and do this super quick. Shane CS played Grey Knights. They're fun. I agree. Yep. Cool. I think Grey Knights, they're pretty limited. That's my main concern with them. I'm definitely looking forward to see what they do with their real kill team, because I've got no clue. how dangerous Overwatch is. Overwatch is
Oh wow,
so
sorry. Okay.
interesting, isn't it? Like, I think it's a really cool way of limiting horde spam. Like, I like it. I think it's just another factor that makes your teams seem, you know, your elite teams seem elite. Sienna says 2 games of 40k today. Oh my god.
Nice.
How? I'm still legitimately, my 1,000-point games take 4 hours. So I just, yeah. Parachuting on your lunch break. I assume by parachuting you mean quickly dropping into this stream and you're not actually parachuting. I feel like a boomer as I'm talking and saying this. Haven't updated the title of the stream. Yep, I've done all that. Cool. Sisters of Battle announced this week? Were there Sisters of Battle announced this week?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Maybe he means like, have you seen the leaks? The supposed rumors for the upcoming kill teams are supposed to be a Pathfinder upgrade sprue and Sisters of Battle neophyte novitiate things, maybe?
See, I heard something else, but I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
I
they're
haven't.
talking about leaks. All right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard anything on that.
Oh, yeah, no, neither have I. I think the only thing I was thinking about doing a video covering them because, man, if anything gets you clicks, it's talking about leaks and rumors. So I probably should have, but I didn't. And now it's too late. But
What have we done?
yeah, I know. Just leaving money on the table with it by not doing that video. I think at first I was thinking thematically, what the hell are these? But then I kind of remembered that GW's a model company. A modeler probably came to the rules department and said, "We're making these. Put them in your game." It's like, okay, yes, sir. Please don't whip me, and that's it. You know. I don't think they get a huge amount of say, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that. The potential sisters and Pathy box, and who knows as time goes on because they said it was going to be like a Q3 kind of release, right? Like every quarter we're supposed to get a new starter type box. Yeah. So yeah, I mean they posted that big old graphics like 3 months this, 3 months that. It showed the next year. So as time gets on, or goes on, and we get closer, maybe we'll know more about that. Maybe something else will get leaked or whatever.
People are making fun of me for for being so bad with chat. I've caught up though, so awesome. There we go. Right, sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks to the guy or gal joining us from lunch break. Thanks
who
for
knows?
spending it with us.
Everyone is a gender-neutral assassin, deathmark, robot neck one. In my
Calitus assassin.
Yeah.
They can be either one.
If you say so. All right. Chat, I'm so sorry. I'm terrible. For anybody curious, this little thing here is going to be, it's called Vantage Point. At some point I will have graphics and I will have a soundboard and it will be like a real podcast. Don't expect that anytime soon. It's going to be something that you can catch live on Twitch, or you can watch it back on YouTube if you're a patron. But that's it. It's not meant to be like a thing. This is super unstructured. It's just me and a guest talking. Today we've got Beery Boy.
There you go.
Yeah. Who, of course, you should check out his channel, Beery 40k, which hasn't released a video in like 6 months, but that will change.
You should
imminently.
check it out next weekend when the videos start releasing again. Yes.
Nice.
That's the launch.
I was vaguely thinking, because I've got you on now, have you been having a look at your factions of choice, which are Gene Stealer, Cults, and Tyranids?
Yes.
Can you talk about these? Do you have thoughts?
Tyranids much more than Gene Stealer Cults.
Okay.
But some of I definitely have thoughts on them.
So when I played Vanguard Tactics, and he ran, a Gene Stealer fire team and a Warrior fire team. I think what he ran is basically the standard Tyranid list against me.
Yeah.
And as
I
Grey
would
Knights,
agree.
I couldn't do a thing.
Yeah, it's real strong.
But I thought
Yeah.
back about it, and I was like, I genuinely couldn't do anything. And I was trying really hard to figure out, where did I go wrong? Am I such a scrub? I don't know what I'm doing. And the answer is yes, I am. But more importantly, I finally figured out where it really went wrong, which is it was the terrain we played on. Beautiful thematic board, but in the center, it was essentially it was a valley, which meant I couldn't actually maneuver. I couldn't use that 3 APL of my Marines to flank a model, and therefore I couldn't touch the guy.
Tyranids do seem to thrive in certain board setups, don't they? Just at like the early days kind of thing. Like if the board's real thick and stuff, like different things become viable, and it's definitely a thing. It's just such an interesting faction, man. There's such an awesome toolbox. Like I feel that, especially like you're talking about that list, right? If you put that list on the board, your success is 100% in your hands. Like if I fail, that's on me. Like I have all the tools, because it's not necessarily cheese, it's solid, right? Like if I need to get a long bomb charge, I can do that. If I need to get over and snake this point, I can do that. If I need this, gun to go off or whatever it happens to be, I have tools to leverage to get me to that position to do that. It's just like there's so much there. And I would suggest, it's funny, kind of branched off a tiny bit. I would suggest somebody stick with a main, like I'm doing with Nids, because as I play these guys, every game they reveal more to me, right?
Right.
Like if you look at tactics, that used to be so keyed to a certain timing in the game, right? Because it was phases last edition. It was like, oh, this happens in the shooting phase. Now that's not a thing. So if you've got something that is not keyed to like the strategy phase or whatever, it's not keyed to a specific moment in the game, think about how you could utilize that. Because like Tyranids have a thing to gain +1 APL, right?
Yeah.
That could be, getting onto a thing and shooting. It could be helping assist with a long bomb charge, something to that effect. It could be shooting, moving, or move, shoot, dash, whatever. It could be getting onto a point, turn ends, that's your last guy you activate. Now all of a sudden you have 3 APL to a guy who had 2 APL, and you control that point. And the round ends, and that carries over into next turn now. So it's like this is just one tactic, and how many ways, just off the top of my head, have we mentioned already of ways to leverage that? It's just such a fascinating thing, to pilot. So I'm really loving the Tyranids right now. Such a cool team.
Yeah, no, Tyranids, first, Sienna in Twitch chat, or Ash C from my
Keon Chan.
Did I not pronounce that correctly? Thank you for using that
Ashley.
particular face cap. Don't change it. That's nailed it. That's actually it's a good one to do. Here I was going to go and like commission my own artwork of Necron Deathmark, but you nailed it. So thanks for that. That was top notch. And also, Hobby Hero points out, glad you're okay, because obviously the last time we really heard from you a little bit, you were kind of dying from COVID.
Oh, yeah, there was some complications there. Yeah. But all better now. It was just like a long series of falling down the stairs, basically. It's like, okay, COVID, so a week of flu or whatever, and then got bacterial pneumonia from that, and so it's like, a week of fever and like shivers and body pains and can't breathe, all this stuff, and then as soon as I got over that, kidney stone. It's like, dude.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the universe trying to tell you something, right?
I know. It's just like so many. It's like being kicked while you're down for so long, right? It just kept grinding on.
Yeah, no, that's At one point, I told you to just be a man and go to the damn hospital.
Which I did.
Did you? Oh, wow,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, yep.
Because you were being a bit of an idiot, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, refusing to go. I don't know.
Well, hey, healthcare, healthcare in the states, man. It's
I didn't want to bring
yeah.
it up, but yeah, I actually thought, oh, maybe he's not going because it costs a literal arm and leg, and so
Yeah,
Whereas I
it
just
can.
stroll in and say, oh, it's free.
Well, it's like you think
Yeah.
about like X-rays, right? You know they're gonna want to X-ray your chest and stuff. It's like, well, what is that? You know, 3 grand. Just stuff like that. You know, so it's like, ooh, I don't know,
Okay.
but
Sorry, I forgot.
but
I'm talking to somebody that lives in a third world country. I apologize.
shots fired, literally. Yeah, it worked out, man.
Okay.
I
No,
I'm
yeah,
all
I'm
better
I'm
now.
I'm glad you're better, obviously. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, Mr. Rian, who is Brocker, in my Discord, torn between Deathwatch and GK.
Ooh.
I don't know. I can't give you any advice. I don't
Yeah.
know what to say about that. It's like it's so down. They're both elite. I suspect in reality you probably want to go Deathwatch, because they're going to have more options, right? In the long run. In the short
Yeah.
term, Grey Knights might be fun. I think everybody's going to end up with a Grey Knight team, just like everybody did in the last kill team, because it's 5 guys, and you probably don't need to change it much. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's think about that. Honestly, right now, like we said earlier, I don't know if people were watching at that point, but we were talking about we're kind of in the beta version. We know there's a lot more coming,
Mm.
and this is like when you think about 8th edition, right? When we got our indexes, and it was just kind of like a stopgap that let us play for a little bit. I kind of think that that's what's going on here, and I wouldn't be surprised if things like the Grey Knights, right? If they didn't end up with an offensive psychic power,
Yeah.
which they currently don't have, just
Sure.
things like that.
Yeah.
That we could see their power level spike a bit. But right now, I don't know, man. Deathwatch seems good.
I don't know.
Deathwatch,
I don't think Grey Knights need an offensive power. They've got
yeah,
buffing
it's quite
powers. Like,
possible.
I mean, maybe they get one, but I feel like they did a nice delineation between Grey Knights and Thousand Suns there. Like, Thousand
Yeah,
Suns are the offensive psychers, Grey Knights are the buffing psychers.
yeah.
I thought it
Dude
was cool.
Simple. Yeah, he told me he's been liking the Grey Knights. He's been running a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think my problem is that generally, so obviously their Stormbolters are really good, but I feel like every time I've shot something, it dies, as long as the save is a 4-up or worse. If you shoot Marines with them, it seems to just bounce off, which is mildly annoying.
yeah.
And you're going to be seeing a lot of Marines, obviously.
You might know better than myself. I was told that the guns of the Grey Knights are not the best at the moment. Like the heavy, silencer and things like
Oh, the
that.
Gunners. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
you need to take them. Honestly,
yeah,
I'm happy to go without. It means that your bolter discipline gets another guy shooting with them. Yeah, I'd say don't take them, to be honest.
yeah. It sounded like it was just like Falchion boys, right? Falchion and Stormbolter.
I don't
Is
think
pretty
they
much what
have
you
to
were
be
doing.
Falchion. I quite like just the regular power weapon guy.
Oh,
I
there
don't
you go.
think Falchions are a must, but they're fine. They're good. I think I think however you've kitted out your previous Grey Knight kill team, that's fine. You're good. Just drop the
Alright.
gunner for another 5th guy. So.
Yeah, I should apologize ahead of time. That hopefully extends over the next 3 years or whatever this game gets support, and just say I'm mainly focusing on NIDS this edition, so I'm
Yeah,
not
sorry.
gonna
Yeah, we can bring
be
it
quite
back.
quite
I
the
mean,
same,
so
Uh,
I guess Shane says elite teams seem explicitly worse in the match play missions. Thoughts?
hmm.
I no. Maybe actually. Sorry, I don't want to just immediately say no.
Okay.
I think once we get good at the game, I think you're right. I think that I don't want to say horde teams, but I want to say that 4 5-man teams are not going to be the best teams in the game. Like, once we
Yeah.
really know how to play, I
Well,
do think. Yeah, sorry.
it's hard to say because like we still don't know what the competitive iteration is going to look like, right? We're still waiting
Sure.
for Warhammer World to do their thing. I believe this weekend. So you're going to cover that, right? I think.
No, what? That's not this weekend.
Oh, okay.
That's the 18th of September. So like
Okay,
3
so
weeks.
it's not this weekend. Next, something like. Oh yeah, it would be
Yeah.
three weekends. Yeah. So that's going to come up. and I'll be watching to you to see, kind of some insights on that. But I'm kind of waiting to see
I
what
didn't
the
get a
win
ticket
conditions
to be
are on the
fair.
board. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you'll be able to talk to somebody probably there,
I
being
hope so.
closer
Yeah.
to myself. But the thing about it is looking at the disparate win conditions here, there are definitely some that I think the elite teams can do. But as I look at the win conditions, right, you just look at the primary objectives. What do you do to win this game? Uh, I see missions asking for bodies. I do
Mm-hmm.
not see any asking for 5 guys or 6 guys, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that could end up being a thing, you know. And in your match play, that could be a thing. Like you might want to have some, instead of running just 4 custodians or something, you have some SOS in the list to shoe in and help you in those missions, and it might actually end up being a better list anyway. That's your default. Um, so a lot of teams I'm noticing that are elite have the ability to shoe in something. Like you look at Marines, right? They could go scouts
Mm-hmm.
or something,
Yeah.
or it's like a CSM. They could take, instead of the 6 Marines, which is what I'm seeing as kind of standard, they could do like 3 and some cultists, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, some of what we're seeing in terms of list design now might be influenced by what the mission is asking from you,
Sure.
possibly. I
No,
guess is what
I
I would
completely
say
agree.
on
I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
but again, so again though, that's where having a higher APL means you can still play the mission. You know.
yes, yep, that's definitely a thing, because if I have 1 guy on there, or even 2, say I have 2 guys on there. If you run 1 Custodian on there and I'm GA2, we're now matched and you're
Yeah.
contesting.
Yeah.
So could swing it or something to that effect. It's definitely a thing. Yeah. And some of these guys are just like, I look at them like, how am I going to deal with that? Like the Custodians and stuff.
Sure.
How do you kill a Custodian with nits? Like, what am I supposed to do? I look at it,
Yeah, it's a good
Gene
question.
Stealers, or
Yeah. Yeah.
what was that?
No, I agree. I thought you were just going to
Okay.
ask the generic question of how do you kill a custodian, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
how do
can
you
tell
kill
you,
a
it's
Custodian in
one
general,
melter.
man?
It's fine.
Oh, one melt will do it?
I've lost a custodian to a single melter before. Yeah, they can do it, man.
Okay.
AP2,
That's
you're
true.
taking a minimum like 10 damage there. So
Yeah.
Equus Mule there says, Grey Knight's Tide of Shadows across the board. I do think that's a really good point. Tide of Shadows is so good. I
And
think
which one is that? Again,
that's the
apologies.
if you're in light cover and you have concealed, it can't be removed. So you're concealed as Grey Knights. It's
Oh,
a
that's
ploy.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's like what the Steelers have.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So
Hidden
even if I'm on a
horrors, I
vantage
think.
point,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. So if I'm
Yeah.
on a vantage point, it's still, even though you're only in light cover, I can't come down and shoot at you, right?
That's right. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Interesting. Yeah,
that's good to know, because they're like the only Marines that can have that ability, which is super good.
Another thing that I would say, just on that spammy thing, is that this edition seems much more lethal, and it could be the case that your staying power means that, yeah, they might have a body's advantage turn 1, but if you're shooting twice with 5 guys, this and that, whatever, and it really works for you, you might find that you're not that far behind in terms of bodies turn 2 onwards, perhaps.
Sure.
So I've been seeing like 3 models on the board end of turn 2, things like that, with teams that were like 8.
Same. Like, I can hear a little bit of me in your speakers, by the way.
Apologies.
But yeah, so that's something else I've learned about this edition, which is I think we're dying really fast. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you felt the same. I don't know if chat's felt the same, but like, models are not hanging around. If you leave somebody to be shot, he's gonna die, right?
Right.
Have you felt that?
I have, and that's why I'm saying, like, I wonder if, okay, you start out the game, I have 8 models, you have 5.
Yeah.
Do I really, is that disparity still a factor turn 3? Probably not.
No.
Yeah. It gets to a real equal kind of level fast, and if I'm not the elite team, it's kind of scary, because it's like, okay, my 2 bodies to your 2 bodies, whatever it happens to be, that is not an equal match, because you got AP3, this and that, whatever. I might have AP2. And if one of my guys is a warrior, cool, might have 18 wounds, but didn't he take some shots in 3 turns or something like that.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, a Grey Knight or whatever, if he gets in on my boy, it's not looking too good for him.
No, sure. Right, I've caught up with chat. Let's get back on topic. Not that we have a topic. That's something I also wanted to make super clear. This is a very chilled out, casual podcast, which is chatting. But Tyranids, I think, and I think everybody else has seen this as well, I think Tyranids are really strong in this edition. I don't know why I'm saying in this edition, in this game, right?
Yeah, they just feel real good, man.
Yeah.
They did them justice. And I feel like I said, I don't feel... It's not like a 14 drone cheese kind of good. It's a solid. It's like a thank you, yes, I have the tools kind of solid. Where I feel like, okay, even if there's a little bit of power creep over time and stuff, that these will be a perennial faction because, like I said before, I feel like it's on me as the player to leverage what these guys have in the moment. If I can see it and understand what I need to make happen, I feel like NIDs have the ability to do that, and it's just so awesome.
Right.
It's like I tripped, fell, and landed as with my main faction into a good one this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't know. Do you want to? Do you want
I
to
actually
talk
wrote
about
Brant
it?
and said thank you. You know what I mean? And Janice and stuff, like some of these playtesters I know. It's like, thank you guys, you did a great job on this edition.
Now that's interesting. Did Brant respond to you?
Possibly shortly. Just
right.
like a hey, thanks, kind of a thing.
Oh, fair enough.
Busy guy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
yeah, it was totally unsolicited. They were just not expecting.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, Biren is not complaining.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, Tyranid Warriors, Gene Stealers, Tyranid Swarm. How much have you actually played with them, out of curiosity, so far?
I've been playing a lot. In fact, I'm in the middle of a tournament right now, and I have all 3 fire teams on the roster. I've been doing a lot of thinking and testing, and a bit of sad hammer and playing actual games and trying to play against different things.
So
played against a lot of different stuff.
Ash asks, do you think the default NID roster will be 10 Gene Stealers and X Warriors, or 5 Gene Stealers with 8 to 10 Gaunts X Warriors?
Ooh, hard to say because just a little, early behind the scenes into what I'm thinking at the moment. I think people aren't looking at the fire team, and they should, or the swarm fire team, excuse me.
Okay.
And I think that there is a potential that what it is it's kind of like the baseline is 3 warriors, 5 stealers, but let's just talk about there's different things where instead of the 5 stealers you might go swarm, right? Like let's say we have prior knowledge of the board, which is 99% of tournaments. What the terrain's going to be like, all that stuff, well ahead of time. I mean, we've tested on the exact terrain 3 months before SoCal Open and stuff, or maybe not SoCal Open, LVO, stuff like that, before it happened. And so a lot of times you'll know what's going on. So let's say the board, it's very sparse, right? Not a lot of cover, things like that. Well, you've got an inbuilt debuff to their shooting and your Gene Stealers that you leverage in that moment. So you take your warriors and your stealers and stuff, and your stealers are able to make more from the cover than the Hormigaunt would, right? But let's talk about if you have prior knowledge and you think that the board is going to be very dense. There's a tactic to retain an additional, I believe it's called Lurk, an additional save die against shooting attacks. And I think that that's just fine on Gaunts, right? Because if you're in cover, that's 2 automatic retained saves, despite only having a 6 up. So you're automatically retaining those saves, and now it starts to be like, okay, let's look at what these Hormagaunts actually have. What makes Gene Stealers amazing that people really like? Relentless, Rending, 5 attacks, stuff like that. The Hormagaun's a little bit off of that, but he still has Relentless. He still has, which is interesting because he has better Scything Talons than a Warrior. The Warriors is only rerolling 1s, I believe. And then if you look at his crit, it's the same crit as a Stealer. So you have that Stealer upside of crits, right? The other thing that's really interesting about that team is that you can mix in some shooting. It's not only a, kind of melee-based team. You could take 1 to 2 Devourer Gaunts, and now you kind of have a more flexible type team, a more mixed role kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the acid mod. You have what I feel Tyranids I feel have the best flamer in the game. It's 3/3, not 2/2. You have one less shot than a standard thing, but you have one more damage base, right? Getting through.
Right.
You're hitting on 2s with a Hormigaunt.
Mm-hmm.
6-inch threat range. That's great. That's really good. And I also really like the acid mods on Steelers with that free dash and stuff, right?
Sure.
But it starts to be like where, oh my gosh, this is actually pretty decent. You're saving 2 things in cover automatically. You're retaining 2 save die and bolting out there and spitting some acid on somebody and hitting on 2s
sure.
with this little chaff thing with his awesome shooting attack. And then it's like you got GA2 with them, so you're kind of like out activating. It's like, okay, I get to go once. That's what does that be? 8 shots hitting on 2s because I'm now doing 2 of those potentially before you. And it's splash 1. So there's mortals involved on crits. It's just like really cool. And then it's like, okay, I get to go again. 2 devourers now come out. Bap, 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 and it's like I haven't even gotten into the warriors yet. And everything. So I think that there's something to the Swarm Fire team. Everybody is saying no, no, no. Swarm is bad. I have them in the roster for this first tournament. Sure. I have a 6 model Swarm Fire team, which is the 4 Gaunts to Devourers. And that is a sub-in potentially for Steelers, kind of in the the role that I have Steelers going on and doing. Yeah.
No, yeah, I could totally see that. So you want to be running like 6 Hormigants with as many acid balls as you can. No, that'd be 4 Hormigants, 2 Termagants with Devourers, and then either Tyranid Warrior or Gene Stealer Fire team.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, that acid ball spam, that sounds like definitely a way to go with things, I think.
It's really neat. And then it's like, okay, let's say the win condition is tag, like there's those objectives, right? There's mission types where it's like, okay, you get to an objective, you spend an APL.
Yeah.
Right? Or an AP. You activate that, it's gone forever. It drops a token that now if you hold that at the end of the game, that's great, right? Well, let's look at that against a slow-moving team like Necrons.
Yeah.
Who's actually, you look at them and you're like, crap, how do I deal with this? Well, the mission kind of gives you an in there because you have the CP tactic to do normal move before the game starts, right? So you just jet up, boom. You put, instead of an acid maw in this map, or mission type, you've put an adrenal gland. So now you're +1 to your base move. So what you can do, a lot of people have looked at this giant bit of movement that they can do, early on as a turn 1 charge. But let's talk about just a Hormigaunt, right? A Hormigaunt, you in the scouting phase choose for him to do a 3-inch dash. Boop. Now before the ground starts, Tyranid player pays a CP, moves 7 inches. We're already to 10 inches. Now before the game starts, or you get to activate whatever, he's got another 7 inches or whatever out onto that point. Just one of the 3 that they thought was a given. Because you activate that now and that objective disappears. All else being equal, they were expected to get 3 and now only get 2. You're expected to get 3 and get that 3 plus their 1. You could have just won that game turn 1.
Now, how are you getting that long charge again? I've known this before, but I'm reading it now and I can't see it again.
Yeah. So in the strategy phase, or in the scouting phase,
you take the dash. I know that bit.
There's a 3-inch dash.
Yeah.
And then before the game starts, there's a tactic to make a normal move with a
right, because it's before the game starts.
Yeah. No. So it's before the game starts. You're good. It's in the strategy
before the firefight phase. You mean?
It's before he's activated, right? Like, that's what actually matters. Is it's before the actual model's activation.
Okay.
Because that's when the free stuff starts counting against him, as I understand it.
Okay.
So you're +1 to that from your adrenal glands. So it's a 7-inch move. So you're up to 10 right away. And then so it's like 17 inches from where you deployed him. You can steal one of their objectives and make that disappear for the whole game. And what's cool about that guy's dead, right? Like the Necron player is not going to appreciate that. That Hormigaunt is toast.
100%.
That's kind of expected. A dead Gene Stealer, you're like, that hurt. But a dead Gaunt, you're kind of like, this is kind of what they do. So I really there's utility to some of this stuff that I think people. This isn't monetized, right?
Nope.
People just want the biggest swinging dick kind of model that they can get, right? Just like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna murder, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, that's not what it's all about. It's not
No.
always about this model. Like, it drives me crazy because every game system you see this, right? Oh, it's not OP, it's trash. It's
Sure.
like, dude, no, it doesn't have to be like doing 24 damage and broken and busted to be good. That's why I keep saying about the Tyranids, they are not broken, they are solid. They're not cheese. They're like reliable and flexible, and they get done what you need to get done. You know?
Okay. But you do
And
tend to like cheese.
absolutely. But
Okay.
it's like in this edition, with the change to fire teams, I believe there's less of it. So that when
Yeah,
you
sure.
find it, it's going to be harder to now counter
Sure.
and stuff, because like we look at last edition, Death Guard, oh, the emerge is good in the beginning. Okay, Elliot Miller comes with 8 plasmas, boom, shuts it down so hard you never see the archetype again in 3 years, right? The rest of the game's lifespan. So, you know, you see him come back as now Poxy spam and stuff, right? The game evolved.
Yeah.
But that's not the same, right? Because if let's say that analog suddenly came into existence here in 2.0 or the new kill team. Well, if there's some big bad list, I can't just put 8 plasmas down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they were kind of hyper vigilant in terms of like the cheese, and that's why there's all these different win conditions, and that's why there's the attacker and defender and this and that. Like there's just a lot to it.
Right.
I think that's going to mean there's less cheese, and I'm honestly happy to have reliable, because like, why did I have to run 20 guns? Because I couldn't kill elites, right?
Sure. You had to
I had no answer for like custodies or whatever if I wasn't like just beating them on the mission, right? I was not going to kill them. So that's why a lot of the cheese existed in the first place. Is it's like, okay, there's a huge deficiency in this faction that is now corrected by an unsolvable problem.
Yeah.
And,
Okay,
and that,
I'm gonna quickly engage with chat.
Okay.
A thing. Hello, Sheldon. What up?
Hey.
You put in a. That is an emoji. A crump emoji. Thank you.
Crump.
Hormigants lost their movement, like their speed. I think a lot of factions you just have to completely rethink. You know, a lot of people when they saw Harlequins said, "Oh, Harlequins are slow now," and that's they're not. They're super fast. So I think people need to just redefine how movement works in their head now. TS Rebooter asked, what did you think about the board of the Talons versus Harlequins with Vanguard tactics? The verticality seemed really interesting. Or seemed to let vertical movement equip blah blah blah, but melee might suffer. Yeah, I don't think the game should be played with more than 2 levels. I think there should be ground floor and then there should be vantage point floor, essentially. I think anything above that, it puts too much of a swing into different teams, I would say. Anything with fly or flip belts is just...
Or just ability to deploy, right? Because like you look at the commando sniper or whatever, it's like he can be nigh impossible to even contact, right?
Yeah. So I think you need to have, actually, as much as it might suck to say, a very limited amount of vantage points, but where they're placed is super key. I think.
Yeah.
And that's for the TOs to figure out, like, where should vantage points actually be. I recently played a game. I wish I'd taken a picture of the board. It was. I don't want to say that I've already nailed the terrain deployment, but it was a really good terrain deployment. And it was learning that heavy cover is such a key thing to this game. And also because we now just apply like properties to the cover, if you need to change how your board plays, just say, right, this is heavy cover now. And that completely changes how the board works. Yeah. If you're feeling that like the game is too, like you're being shot too easily, just take one of the light barricades from like the Octarius box, like the long light barricade, to say that's heavy cover. You can cut the board in half. People won't be able to shoot beyond half the board. Like, it completely changed the game.
One of the cool things that's kind of like coming up, I've heard said on the Discord stuff, it's funny observation, is that some of the best games in terms of how the board feels is also just kind of what looks coolest.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
But it's like kind of how they how it happened this edition.
Yeah, like the board that I ended up playing on with my friend 2 weekends ago now was actually using Age of Sigmar terrain. It
What a trip.
was when I had just seen the terrain like on the Warhammer community site, I thought that sucks because it's just like these quite thin stone walls, but it ended up being really good. And there are just like 2 vantage points, and we were almost playing like a city fight, like tight street corners. It was really good. I'll have to ask him to set it out again for me so I can say why it's so good at some point in a video.
Yeah.
And then just people talking about Academic Chris is going to change his Custodians to biggest swinging dicks team. Cheese is delicious.
What have I done? The meme. What have I done? The meme that was created in this podcast, Glass.
Oh, Necrons are OP. Necrons are OP. I actually do want to talk about Necrons in a moment, but I'll keep going with chat. Say Little Metal Bottle. That's probably making fun of the British accent. Let's try it in a proper, how you want me to say it, shall we? Little Metal Bottle. Is that how? Alright, mate. I got a little metal bottle.
Crikey, I don't know. Got a little metal bottle.
Exactly. Just make sure you only pronounce the vowels in that. Kroot Hounds. I haven't played Kroot yet. Apparently they're good, so that's nice. Yeah. Shane CS, Necrons. Necron Ploys are meh, but the Immortals are sick. Yeah, so I do think that Necron Immortals with the Gorse weapons are the best shooting in the game. You know, as a fire team. But I mean, they should be because they're also really slow, right? And there's only 4 of them. They should be the best shooting in the game because they go and suck. People are liking Necron Warriors. Reanimation's bizarre. Don't know why, but okay. Alright. Nice. Caught up. Okay, there you go. Right. Tell me about GST and Occults, Pyramid.
Oh man. They just have some neat tactics, you know. I haven't run them, right?
No,
the game's still new to me. But it looks like they have some neat tactics. The mining laser looks great. They could potentially have one of the better snipers in the game.
Okay.
The tricksy shenanigans. Yeah. There's tricksy shenanigans to, you know, change engage and conceal orders early on. That makes them kind of potentially busted. And here's the thing. Note for you listeners. My humor tends towards exaggeration, right? If I say, "Oh, it took me 15 minutes," I'll be like, "Ah, God, I was there for 20 years," you know. So if I say "busted," that just means like real good.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, because it's kind of like you can't shoot them until they're like, "Okay, I've gotten my stuff in," and in order to get to where you might be able to do something, maybe Overwatch, whatever it happens to be, get to positions, win condition, get on, you know, those points, something to that effect. Can be potentially a thing, it looks like. So the neophytes look great because that's kind of like my thing, right? Like that was my SoCal Open build was just neophytes. So
would you run really 14 cool. Neophytes?
I ran max neophytes.
No, I mean in this game. Would you run
no.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. I would say I want to try it, but there does appear to be diminishing returns to this double fire team compared to some what else have going on, right? Because
same as Guardsmen, the Gunners.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Your first fire team, you're getting first draft and second draft with special weapon and your favorite heavy weapons, and you're getting 3 big guns, right? Your second fire team, you're getting your 3rd draft pick and the 2nd heavy weapon that you passed over the first time, right?
Yeah.
So there might be diminishing returns there, just competitively speaking. But that gets into it's like, man, metamorphs look great.
Just doing so a quick little bit of maths on this, and I suck at maths. But actually, by taking the 2nd fire team, don't you round up the numbers for your neophyte hybrid troopers so you can maximize your GA2?
Yes, you could do that. Yep.
Because
you would have a lot of troopers.
I mean, by not being allowed to take the 2nd gunner, the 4th gunner, that gives you an icon bearer twice.
Yes.
and you then cannot take a second leader, that means you are getting more GA2
Yes.
models.
Yep.
I don't know. Yep. Sorry, keep going.
No, but that's definitely a thing, right? Like, I think there's more to GA2 than people realize at the moment. Just thinking in terms of like competitive, like when I'm looking through the book and you look at the missions, GA2 seems like a sleeper in those tagging archetypes, where it's like, okay, I get there and turn it on or whatever, or have more guys on there than you, whatever it happens to be like that. Just seems really neat for that. I wish there was a way to get a Steeler GA2, because the way my buddy set up this map for one of the tournament things that we just played, it's like I could be in concealment, like against heavy or against light cover, right by the center, right, and not be able to be shot because I'm a gene stealer. And then it's like with the free dash action that they get, you would just get to because the way it works with traversable terrain is it's just like 2 inches, right? So I could just pick them up, set them on the other, and then one inch over. So I've paid no AP. I'm on the point, turn it on, and then normal move back, and just like repeat at will, right? It just seems like really cool. So it's awesome on a GA1. I think it'd be really cool, especially like if I had something like that with GA2. Maybe in your teams, you're looking for something and you've got some GA2 guys, and you've got some dash shenanigans or whatever. I believe Eldar have that, right? Where it's like you can do it as part of your move. You get also a dash or something to that effect.
I don't think Eldar have any GA2 though. That's
okay.
Unless the Guardians are, but I don't think so.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe there'll be something for someone out there, but it's just, I don't know. Seems like a thing. Even without the shenanigans, it seems like that's strong in those. Just my initial impressions, right? I'm still a noob.
No, sure.
I just know like last edition, thinking competitively, and then coming to this and wrapping my mind around it, trying to think, how do I win this game?
Yeah.
It seems good for
mean,
that kind of a thing.
In my noob eyes, when I first saw Gene Stealer Cults, the Neophytes, I was like, oh, the Gunners, they're hitting on 4-ups, and now, of course, we're not taking all of the minuses to hits. So they can actually hit and kill things. That's amazing. But then I remembered, oh, you can only take 1 or 2 if you max it out. And also, they're going to fall over like a feather. Like, if anybody shoots them, they're dead, basically. They're not going to stand up to anything.
And I think that's like part of their thing, right? It's like just being hard to shoot rather than like, okay, I can take it and still be here.
Sure.
It's like they just prefer not to be shot.
Yeah. No,
I think.
I mean, obviously. Yeah, I think that's definitely Gene Stealer Cults. And as everybody's saying, I think hybrid metamorphs have just amazing base weapons there.
Yeah.
I think
what I worry about with them. See, here's a bit of stuff too. Okay, and again, untested.
Okay.
But brutal weapons not being able to be blocked unless you get crits. That's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because I come in with this squishy little guy who's gonna hit like a truck, and what that means is that there's less that they're deflecting and more that they're just allocating straight onto you, right? So that's kind of a worry that I have. It's like, well, if they're not trying to keep themselves alive and are just pushing everything through, these guys aren't going to eat too much and still be there.
Yeah.
So could be a thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
I think if I had to guess, and again, I'm fully admitting that I'm a scrub noob in this, and I'm just looking at things and saying, oh, that's interesting.
Same.
But I think that Gene Stealer Cults are going to be better Eldar. If I had to characterize them, super squishy, they're going to fall over and die. But I think because you have more models and you're actually, in a lot of cases, just more lethal, and you have access to GA2 on top of better melee, I think you're gonna. I think Gene Stealer Cults are going to be one of the more advanced teams to play. But I think once you nail them, I think they're going to be super strong.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's almost like if you really liked Eldar Last Dead, you might like Cults, or you might also. I played against Commandos the other night for the first time. You might like Commandos. They are tricksy.
Yeah. Commandos are super good. Yeah.
they're kind of in that neighborhood, aren't they? Like where the Eldar used to be and stuff like that. Where it's like
Yeah.
you got melee, you've got shooting, you've got shenanigans that you can do. You've got other guy has rules that
Yeah.
don't apply to you. You know, like, you're just like, no,
Yeah.
that's fine. You have those stipulations.
Yeah, you have those rules that make you win games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and good luck with that, because you can't shoot this guy, and yeah, I'm gonna shoot you while I'm concealed and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
just really, I don't know. If you liked Eldar, check them out, because odds are, if you bought the starter, I mean, you've got that, or you know, hey, maybe you can pick them up for cheap online and enjoy the play style, right?
Let's hope so. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna engage with chat for a moment, being honest. Okay.
Sure.
They're arguing about how. Sorry, no, they're not arguing about Raw on a warrior having to select models. They obviously will have to select. This is Necron warrior, not Tyranid warrior. Because
Okay.
as I'm sure you saw in the Necron Compendium faction, currently they're not forced to choose between their two guns. So Raw, they can take both, but obviously that's going to get errated or
I don't think. I don't think any TOs are going to allow that.
No.
I think they're just going to,
no, of course not.
do WYSIWYG and put what's on your actual guy.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
But yeah, interesting stuff. There was something like that with neophytes as well, because neophytes rules is written. Yeah, they have the shotgun and the auto gun on the neophytes.
Oh, you're right. So they do.
Simultaneously.
So they do.
So it's a similar thing.
Okay.
Yep.
That'll definitely get changed. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's on cults, right? It's getting changed for sure.
Well, yeah, because it's clearly not meant to be that way.
Yeah. No, it'll probably stay on Necrons, but get taken off.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, say what you will. I do think that I'm not sure how warriors are going to perform for Necrons. I think you can look at it and see, oh, Immortals are obviously really strong, but then what you take as that second fire team, I'm not sure on yet. Default, I think most people are going to go for the flayed ones, but I think warriors are going to be a strong second. And personally, I don't know which one to go for yet. Yeah,
in the early days, I've been seeing people poo-poo the flayed ones. They tend to be doing, from what I'm seeing, the more competitive folks seem to be going double. They go warrior, immortal.
Sure. Okay.
And then it's like the warriors are out there doing their stuff and getting those points and reanimating on twos and whatnot, which is real strong. I actually posted a meme about that today. It's this real buff guy. Kid asks him how he got like that. He says, every time I reanimate an immortal or a Necron warrior, whatever it is, I do one push-up.
Right.
He's like, Jesus Christ.
Nice.
The guy's all buff. But so yeah, that's what I'm seeing is like Starfire Core, Immortals,
right?
And then some warriors at the moment.
Micromancer says, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but that's that opens itself up, because it's like, I feel like if you get ahead early against that team, especially in like those disappearing objective missions, that could be it for them.
Okay. Sure.
Have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still such a noob. I don't know. I struggle to talk too much about the ultra competitive side. And just to go
we're just not there yet, right?
No, yeah. I mean, I think people love talking about tier lists and all that stuff, and of course you do, because it's super fun to like hypothesize. I think all of these things should be taken with a huge grain of salt, and should be have a big proviso of, I don't know shit, but here's my tier list. Yeah. Micromancer says, I played a fair amount of GSC. They are super legit. I think they can win tournaments. I guess my question is, who can't win tournaments at this point? I don't know. Not to throw shade at you there. Just like, isn't that kind of the intent of like the current balancing system? Shouldn't everyone be able to win a tournament?
Yeah.
Although obviously I'm being super dense. Yes, I do think, as I just said, Gene Stealer cults, I think, are going to be once we know how to play the game properly, are going to be one of the stronger factions. Yeah.
And for the people that are listening that don't know, Micro is he's won several of the TTS tournaments and taken top eights or whatever, and has emerged real strong. He comes from like a competitive StarCraft background and was doing well with that, and then now does this, and so he has an eye for this stuff and might have been looking. Like I've seen him play some games, and he's like messing with different tac ops based on what an opponent has taken. Like nobody's
Sure.
doing that yet, right? Everybody's just like they've picked the one thing their faction can do, and they're just doing it. But he's already like, no, I'm gonna take security against this, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I do. If he's saying that, I worry about him. Like, because he's Canadian. Canadians they don't say things as forcefully sometimes as us Yanks. So in a polite way, he might be like saying that these are going to raffle stomp comps or something. We don't know. Like, I worry
Sure.
about to what degree he's saying like, oh, these are going to be good. I think they can win tournaments. Like, how good are we talking there, Micro?
Yeah, well, I
Are
mean,
they
until
broken?
we get,
Yeah.
the thing is, let's say there are one or two, really amazing players that have already figured things out already. Until we get other people on the same level in a few months' time, it doesn't really matter about a tier list or
Yeah.
anything, because whatever they play, because they're the better player, is probably going to win. And that's probably
Yeah.
good, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen in Micro, in last edition and so far this edition, he could do it with whatever. Like if somebody were to come on and say, oh, okay, this team looks like it's really struggling, I think he'd be able to still make them work.
Mhm.
Kind of like how Holy did with Marines back in the day at SoCal.
Yeah, yeah.
At that time, people still hadn't quite discovered what the veteran data sheets could do and things of that nature, and he just showed up and took a second
Right.
place at a major or whatever.
Yeah. Super strong.
Yeah.
Super strong.
Yeah.
And then somebody points out Gene Stealer Colts thing. Starting the game with a dude on an objective, 3 activations in a row, lurk in shadows, giving you 2 auto cover saves. So, yeah, they got some tools. They got some tools, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it'll be neat. I just want to see like what the list ends up being. Is it viable to take the Neo spam? Is
Sure.
it should you be doing the because it's like I kind of think meta's neophytes is like kind of the baseline.
Yeah.
Your 2 fire
Yeah.
teams. Yeah.
I think the noob trap, if you want to call it that, of this edition is going to be taking the big heavy hitters.
Yeah.
When really you need to be taking your GA2 guys, your swarm of 7, because that's actually how you win games. And really, your Acolyte hybrids or your metamorphs, honestly, they're just there as the distraction card effects,
Yeah. We'll see, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, that could definitely be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that a lot of people aren't talking about the Acolyte hybrids because they've seen the metamorphs. The Acolyte hybrids aren't bad either.
Yeah, and it comes back to what I was saying about the brutal weapon, right? On every guy having a brutal weapon and only like 7 wounds or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they're not gonna be parrying your stuff. Most people are trying to parry some things.
They'll kill you in 2 hits. They're not parrying you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's like you're trading a guy for a guy in those exchanges.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, if you hit the bastard end of the bell curve, it could be you don't even trade the guy for the guy. You just get in and get swept.
Yeah.
So it could end up being a thing where the acolytes come in with what is not visibly a superior weapon, but just because of the interaction on that model, on that chassis, and the way the game works now, being so lethal, could end up being that you take the less good quote unquote thing because that just lets you play the game.
Sure. I mean, at the moment, my favorite special rules, as in I think these are the most powerful special rules you want to be looking out for when making a team, are lethal 5-up and relentless. Take those.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. Everything else seem more situational, but those 2 are always going to do good things for you.
Yeah, those are great ones. I really like Blast. I really like Blast.
Well, so in the last edition, maybe this just shows how much of a noob I was, but I never really cared that much about grenades. Like, I went games without using a grenade, right?
Yeah.
In this edition, I ran my infiltrators, who I just happened to take some frag grenades in with because I didn't know what else to give them for equipment. And one grenade took out like 3 poxwalkers and
That's what I'm
heavily
saying.
damaged a death guard.
Yeah.
Grenades are so different to how they used to be. I think legit, if you have access to grenades, put them on your crappy guys with the guns that suck. Because a grenade is a default weapon, doesn't matter what your normal guy's hitting on, grenades hit on something else. So chuck them on those, run those dudes up, use those grenades.
Yeah, So those have blasts, and also the Barb Strangler, which there's some play to that. Like if you because Tyranids have a tactic to change before or after you activate somebody, you can change them from engage to conceal or conceal to engage.
Mm-hmm.
So you deploy on this thing and you're kind of unshootable for a majority of things, or it's like like the first time I ever ran this was against demons.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry with 18 wounds about getting shot first by a pink horror. So I saw a bunch getting set up as the defender set up, and as attacker, I just like plopped my boy down and just let it rip, man. And it's just I got to see seriously wound one guy and kill 2 others, and with one guy shooting from across the board, just opening move. It's like, yep, I'm sold. I like this mechanic. This is good. I enjoy blast.
Awesome.
Awesome. It's just rough because it comes on a heavy chassis, right? So it's limits the rest of your game.
Would you rather take blasting charges or demolition charges?
Ooh, well, demo charges are unwieldy, so they take 2 APL to activate.
Yeah,
that's been a thing. But see, I heard Micro talking not too long ago about that he thought that starting round 2. You might not need to move and then shoot or something, right? So if you're just getting to a good position overlooking objectives or something, that's a honeypot. It's a magnet for the enemy where they're going to need to traverse to eventually.
Yeah.
If you're set up there with those, I guess the unwieldy probably isn't bad. So I like the unwieldy, or not the unwieldy, just the profile of the blasting. No, demo charges.
Demo charges. I mean,
always said they should have been a thing last game. They just got overshadowed by the rock weapons, but
I think unwieldy on a range 6 is really tough.
Yeah.
And as far as they don't have a way to get to 3 APL, do they? As a team?
I don't believe so.
No, they don't have like the icon gives them an APL or something, does it?
No, I believe that's reroll.
Okay, fair enough.
It could be. I believe it's melee damage.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Micromancer answered. Lots of teams are strong in certain respects, but aren't well rounded. I feel GSC has the toolbox to have game against anything. That's what he meant by can win tournaments. Yeah, obviously. Sorry, as I said, I was being a bit of a facetious. I was being a bit facetious when I said that. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think they.
Yeah, I'm just pulling it up now. Demo charge. So they're 4 equipment points. That's steep.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not cheap. But you could just take 2 of them and a blasting charge. Or a demo charge, whichever one. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, 4 attacks hitting on 3s that do 5 damage, 6 on a crit. And it's blast. Can you imagine getting that off glass?
AP1 blast. God. Hell yeah. Dude, I mean, the Barb Strangler is not AP1 blast, is it?
No, it's just it's more, it's a much more tame version. No, that was the grenade we were talking about. The
no, yeah.
But no, the Strangler is 5 attacks hitting on 4s, damage 4, 5 on a crit, heavy blast.
Okay.
So it's blast 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I will say though, I think one of the teams we're most going to have to go up against and learn how to handle are stealth teams.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of stealth suits.
I think we're gonna. We were having a debate about this the other day in the Discord. I think it's gonna end up being double pathies.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm more thinking about like your first tournament. What are we going to see? I think stealth suits small model count, so therefore low cognitive load, super
Yeah.
hard to shoot, and when they do decide to open up on you, they're doing a hell of a lot of damage. Like,
Yes.
yeah. So I think we're going to see a lot of beginners playing stealth suits, and that's why we're going
Yeah.
to see them in the first few tournaments. And
They
they're
do.
strong.
Yeah.
They're strong.
Well, they have that juju going. If it's like, okay, you've got rules that I don't have, kind of a thing, right?
Yes.
Which is always
That camo
strong.
field. Yeah.
So that's definitely a thing to leverage. You know, and it could be like, because last edition we saw, like, for example, 4 lictors, right? Like, everybody
Yes.
said that was crazy, or like the 4 frag cannon lists and
Yeah.
stuff that didn't ever take a tournament, but they were like pub stompers.
I mean, they
And
did, but like not a big one. But I distinctly remember people posting like, you used to be able to win those medals. And I remember it very well. It was, back in the early days, they posted on r/killteam on Reddit, and they posted their medal and they posted their 5 Deathwatch guys in front of it. And
4 were frags.
no, they weren't. That's the
Okay.
thing. And somebody said, "Oh, what was that the list you ran? Why did you run that?" And he said, "No, these were just the models I had. I actually ran a sergeant and 4 frag cannons." And then he started
Okay.
getting downvoted on that comment. So that's how
okay.
that goes. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Which I thought was fun.
Yeah, if that's what your team does to win tournaments, that's what your team does. Like, no
Yeah, for
shame
sure.
in that.
sure.
But yeah, it's a thing. But so the 4 frags, I guess. I mean, that won a medal, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, like big majors, things like that. Like, we didn't see it. Like,
Oh yeah, that might have been an
you
8-man
didn't think-
tournament. Who knows? Yeah.
I guess it could have been like maybe that's where the term gatekeeper comes in. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to handle this if it comes up, kind of a thing. In which case, I do believe you're right about the stealthy thing, right? Because it's kind of like when you open the book, it's an obvious thing. You look at it and you're like, wow, that's a lot of dice. Things like that. So
sure.
Yeah, I can imagine people are gonna just gravitate to that in the early days, and you
I
gotta be
will
able
say
to
for the frag cannon there, I felt that Pariah Nexus killed the frag cannon. I think the frag cannon's back. I think that's a good weapon. The only reason you wouldn't take it now is because of bolter discipline. Yeah. Quick note to Sheldon in the chat there. You're saying you don't need to spend CP to split your pinks into blues. That's not right. You need to spend more to split a pink into a blue.
Yes, from
It's
what I
2
understand.
CP to do that, but it's only 1 CP to split a blue into a brimstone.
Yeah.
Just to throw in that out there.
Yeah, which is interesting because that means you only get the 1 a turn, right? You get 1 split now. So, like I was talking about with that blast play that happened earlier, 3 pinks die in the opening salvo of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, only 1 of those would be getting a split potentially.
Sure.
Which makes blast real strong and potentially, pushes down that tactic a little bit. We could see revisions, guys, I guess,
Sure. I mean, yeah.
I would just say that I do see pinks. Like, I foresee, if I was to place a bet, like 90% of games you'll see pinks from a demon player, because that's your ranged, right? And it seems like most teams are going with a flex build of, like, either every guy has a gun and a sword, whatever the hell, or they have a fire team of predominantly shooty and a fire team of predominantly melee. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing, though. I would say that actually, don't, like, in the last edition, pinks, their shooting was terrible. Never did anything. In this one, it's just normal shooting. It can skill stuff. So, yeah, I think they're better.
I was surprised,
and you don't default split them. Like, you don't have to split them to be good. Yeah.
First time I played against him was on TTS, and I was running just the 10 Stealer build, just like, it was like my second or third game or something. And I was surprised because it's like a war gear or a tactic, whatever, I can't remember exactly, but it becomes basically a bolter. It's like a Space Marine bolter.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of guys.
6 dudes.
That fire team. So it's just,
Yeah. Strong.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Stronger than I thought, right? Coming from last edition and not having, being on TTS and nobody having it, written out in the text where like you hover over the model and it tells you what they have. Like you don't know sometimes if you're going into a Care Bear or Freddy Krueger. So I didn't know that they were going to be as deadly as they were.
Right.
And maybe left myself open to some things I shouldn't have. But I would just, it's kind of seconding your point that they are much better this edition.
Chat here points out it's better than Evolved. It's 4 or 5 damage instead of 3-4. That's really good. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I thought it was 4 on the max, but like I said, this is like game 2 or 3.
Sure.
I could be wrong on that.
I just parroted what chat said.
Yeah, I have not looked at demons as something to play. Right, I've only seen them on the other side of the table.
That's fair. Yeah. So we're kind of wrapping up hour 20. Do you have anything you want to say about Kill Team? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I would say that they're, how do I phrase this in a concise, polite way? There are people who have made content on this game who have not played game. In such, there have been criticisms made that I see parroted quite over.
You're calling me out right now? Okay.
No, I'm not you. Somebody older and grayer and bearder.
Okay.
That is, I now see what was said, posted in chat forums as if it's truth. It has become gospel. One of those pertains to list building, that there is less depth. And I'll tell you, for this first tournament, I not only, had to scrap lists and stuff, but because of, I need to take this out to put this in and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I had to completely blow up and restart 3 different times.
Right.
And I've already, as soon as this is done, I'm changing for next time. In one game, I've learned that I can make this better. Right. So the depth is deceptive. With this game in terms of the list building. There's also the fact that for all the sadness that is understandable at the moment, we are playing beta. I would say for the people who don't have their models yet that they enjoyed last edition, not only are those coming, but I would say to think about it perhaps that you may be running the same models more often than you did last edition. Last edition, I might be running Gene Stealer cults or Tyranids. I'd have a Gene Stealer on my list that might come in for one game. There's like, if I play against Thousand Suns in this, that's where the Steelers, he's there for that. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this game, 99.9% of the time, I'm going to be running 5 Gene Stealers, 3 Warriors.
Right.
With different loadouts and war gear and this and that, and Acid Mon this and it's this. Okay, well I need the one adrenal gland here and the this and that. But my dudes, I'm getting to interact with that kill team more than before. So that is, I think, a big upside because, that's what it's about, right? Like, people want the bad batch. I've got the bad hatch with my little guys right now. I've got the bad hatch.
The bad hatch. Okay.
Yes, dude. And they're going to, hopefully you'll see them at a top table at a tournament soon. And it's going to be the guys that I'm, playing in the early days. They will still be good, I believe, as time goes on.
Right.
Like, I think that they've got the tools to, like, when I look at these teams, I think that as the game progresses and power creep happens, there's not too much that is going to get left behind.
Sure.
Because, again, a lot feels like on the board this edition. Last edition, my goal was to win a tournament before dice rolled. It was list building. That was all, Whereas now it's like so much depends on what you're doing on the board. Mm-hmm. It's on player skill now, not like, can I write a list that looks like I fell asleep and my nose hit the letter F, just pink horror, drone, Hormagon. It's going to be more interesting. You're going to get to play with your dudes that you like or whatever more often.
Yeah.
More stuff I think is viable now. More action. More in terms of viability in terms of disparate factions, like the the Kroot and the this and the that and Marines and the whatever. I think that more is viable. It's just a great game. So even though there's been some poo-pooing, just know I myself came into this absolutely negative, determined not to play it. I was doing 40k. I had said I will not get in this game. I told Utsicle, don't let me get into this game.
Right.
because I was so salty and burned from last edition.
Yeah.
But they've done a great job. I see efforts to make changes, and I would say try it. Give it 5 games, and then play number 6 and think about it like it's your first one.
What made
Because
you
then
play
you'll
the game?
understand
If you
trying.
were so if you were so determined to not play the game, what made you play it?
Because peer pressure.
That's fair play. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'll roll some dice and this and that. I needed to be able to talk to it.
Yeah.
I still had, people signed on for coaching for a dead game and things like that. They were like, hey, what do you think about this and things like that. I was like, okay, well, I'll take a look and do my best, but I'm a noob and,
Sure.
And about game 6, it started to change for me. And I hope that it does for you as well. Give it 6 games, 5 games, 6. Think of that as game number 1, and let me know, what you guys think of it. Did I fuck up by telling you that? Do you hate me for it? Did I waste your time? I hope not, and I don't think that will be the case. So, I guess that's it.
Glove, who says, just super happy the Chaos Space Marines are not the dumpster fire they were last edition. That's fair. Yep.
Hey man, I've seen them rock house with the berserkers and stuff, right?
Well, yeah, but normal Chaos Space Marines, they're now Primaris. Yeah. They're now Primaris stats. So I'm happy with them. 12 wounds, baby. Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking just like core book chaos, I can see that because it was there was pretty much one list cultist spam. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jimbo Action, who is Chrono DK on Reddit, who has made those cool little cheat sheets that are pinned to my Kill Team General chat. Says so true, so much to go in this game. There you go. Awesome. Quick side note about 40k. I mean, the rumor is that we're getting GC the Colts December, right?
I had not heard this. That excites.
Yeah, that was kind of so it's been hinted at. If you remember, they did like a Codex roadmap on Warhammer Community like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And there were Thousand Suns and Grey Knights, which we knew were coming. Those have just released. Then there's Black Templars. Then there's 2 like mystery codexes. And the current thoughts are that they are Custodes and GC the Cults in December.
That's weird because I heard Tyranids were coming first, but I mean,
so I think the thing is, from that artwork, it could be either. It could be either. It might be Tyranids. Tyranids would make more sense because we did Warhammer Community did a Synapse article, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which obviously makes you think Tyranids.
Mechanic. Yeah. I hope they wait, to be honest, because I'd rather be a later edition. And
sure, you want them to just hold off on that codex so that you're still good at the end of the game, as opposed to being like Necrons who are now terrible or something.
I just like the mid to later codexes seem to things have matured.
It's good.
They've realized the vision of what they're trying to do with this edition and stuff like that at that point. And I guess they're probably getting there by now. We're already like a year and a half in.
They must be. Yeah, it's a year and a half.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of codexes released at this point. None of the good ones, obviously, but they're coming.
Yeah. I'm excited for it then. Yeah. I'll take a mid-round codex.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how they make GC the Cults better than both Drukhari and Admech. I mean that's
for
interesting.
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks until Custodes release. Yeah.
It'll be. I'm hyped for it. I'll get to have the 3rd Gene Stealer Codex that they've released because I've got every one so far.
I think what could be cool is that there's still no mention of Imperial Guard, and that means Imperial Guard are going to be one of the later releases, which means they should be a strong faction, like up in for like at least the next 2 years, kind of thing. Which is pretty cool.
Well, in that case, I would hope that the next one is Tyranids because I would like AM to be out before GSC. I don't want Guard to be out before. Right, because I want to be able to borrow with my Brood Brothers and stuff, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I wonder how they do. I mean, well, maybe they... That will be interesting. How they're going to handle Brood Brothers and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the codex isn't out yet. They just have
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
so if they, write something about keywords and interaction, and then
Mm.
later on write something different, like I just foresee a potential breaking of intentions and things like that, which could be for the better, could be for the worse. But it's like, do we really want to be playing something broken at the end of the day?
Eh,
I prefer
I
solid.
prefer not to, but whatever.
Yeah.
Unless
like
it's my
clean.
faction, then it's fine.
Yeah. I like real clean rules writing,
Exactly. That's what I like.
Yes.
That's why I'm not a rules writer as well. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, chat, for hanging around. As I said, there is literally zero production effort gone into this at this point.
Woo!
But this is the Vantage Point podcast, which isn't a podcast, and you can catch it live here on Twitch, here, or if you're a patron, you can watch it back whenever you like on YouTube. That's the only way to get it, live or as a patron. So do that. I've got more people coming on. This isn't going to be regularly scheduled. This has no purpose. The only purpose is I want to talk about certain things about Kill Team that I cannot do yet on my channel, but I want to talk about Kill Team. So I'm doing it by getting random people to come on here and then talking to them and then releasing it as just the worst content. Nobody wants this, but I want to do it. So there you go.
And I'm as random a guest as they come, pretty much.
Exactly. Who even are you? Some guy that hasn't released a video in 6 months.
Yeah. That changes next weekend, everybody.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So check out Beerinid 40K on YouTube. That's the word, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Coming back.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. You will see me on my YouTube channel. I don't know when I'm doing another one of these. These are going to be completely random, but I'm doing one next Tuesday, so not that random. But yeah, there you go. That's sometime. All right, guys. Thank you, Beerinid. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, you're welcome, brother. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.